So I'm going to start with brainstorming. I want to create about 4 different things that I want to include in this coloring page. And I want a frog. I want a mushroom house. I want water. And I want a water lily. So those are the 4 things that I'm going to be including in this coloring page. So what's going to happen is I'm going to just brainstorm and make sure that I have those 4 items in this coloring page. All right. So to do this, I'm going to start with, let me see. I'm going to start just brainstorming and drawing these different images in these 4 boxes. And then later on, I can combine all of it and just make sure that I come up with a harmonious, coloring page. So this is how I usually do it. So let me start actually with the mushroom house. I'm gonna just brainstorm, just a regular mushroom. So in here you have to think about a couple of things. You have to think about the environment in which you want your coloring page to sit, and you have to think about the items that are going to be in that coloring page. So these are just ideas when you put down, these simple sketches. So while I'm doing this, I'm also thinking about the environment that I want this coloring page to be in. This is where the water comes in now. And the water, we're going to have a lily. So lilies usually have these beautiful round leaves that you see people draw like this most of the times. And of course, since we're thinking about the environment, we're thinking about the water, I'm also going to think about the real lily flower. Let me see. I'm just going to put one over here real quick. They usually look like this. And then this is when now I start even to look up, set some reference images and see what I want to include or what I want my drawing to look like. But here we're going to have some water. And of course, that goes with that. So, say if I want my little leaf to be here, and probably a little flower coming off of it. There's gonna be the flower, and I'm gonna think about other things that are also coming off of that flower. I'm gonna think about the water. So now you can see with this now, I already know what kind of leaf I'm gonna put and how the water is going to be harmoniously going around that leaf. All these are ideas that you start with. So now the main character in here is going to be the frog. So now I think about how I want or where I want my frog to face. Do I want him smack bang in the middle of this thing? Do I want him to face off the side a little bit? Do I want to give him clothes and stuff like this? So what's going to happen? I'm going to go ahead and draw a frog that is kind of facing me. So his head is kind of like right there. So this all is brainstorming. And you have to think about his round eyes, his little nose, and his body, of course. You don't want him to be a nobody knows. So, want to do his legs like that. Give him some hands. And of course, his little toed fingers are going to come off of him like that. So here in the brainstorming phase, you don't really, this is when you don't need to know how to actually even draw. You just have to come up with the components that you want to be included in this coloring page. So here, you don't need to literally go into details of drawing whatever you're drawing. You're just brainstorming on what you want to have in your coloring page. So here also I'll think about if I want to actually give him a little heart, maybe one of those witches hearts, just to make it a little bit more whimsical as well. So I think about all these while I start up to draw. So now I have everything that I want to include in this coloring page. I have the mushroom house, I have the frog, I have the water with the lily flowers and the lily leaf on it, and I have the lily leaf and the lily flower itself. So now what I need to do at this point, I'm gonna add a different layer, and I'm gonna start now combining all these elements into one page. So this takes time now. This is when now you start playing around with these characters, but also at this point still you don't have to draw them right. You still just have to come up with a concept, and then afterwards you can now go into the details of wanting to draw them right. So now I'm gonna go back on this layer, and I'm gonna go ahead and actually bring this mushroom house. So I'm gonna copy it, and I'm gonna bring it on this layer, paste it on this layer, and now we're gonna play around with this. So now we can size it. So now I can size it up a little bit, and I'm gonna put it on the side a little bit since we have a lot of other things to go into this layer. So I'm gonna put it on the side like right there. I'm gonna go back on that first layer, and I'm going to actually now copy the frog. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring the selection tool again. Oops, not it. I'm gonna bring the selection tool, and I'm gonna copy my frog. I didn't want to move it. So I'm gonna move him back there. I'm gonna swipe down with 3 fingers to copy, and swipe down. Now we're gonna go on this other layer where I want to paste him, and I'll say paste. So now he's on this layer. Now I can start arranging my elements, and I want probably the frog to be a little bit in the foreground, so I can size him up a little bit. Probably right there he looks good. Let me see why he fits perfect. Yeah, probably right there actually looks good. So what's gonna go ahead and happen now, I'm gonna bring in the lily, and I'm gonna make him sit on the lily leaf. So at this point now I know where I want all the elements to go. It's coming up good. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do, I'm gonna turn off the layer that I used to brainstorm, and I'm gonna start now with this layer. So in this layer I'm gonna start now creating this sketch. Now I'm gonna go into a little bit more detail to try to create the sketch now. Still, you don't have to know how to draw at this point still. At this point, you're still brainstorming and arranging the elements in your coloring book. In your coloring page. You don't have to know how to draw. So I'm gonna go ahead and block this in a little bit darker so we can see what we working with here. So that is gonna be my frog right there. And I'm gonna make him actually now sit on this. Let me actually erase this a little bit so we can see. 1 second. I think I need to join two. Yeah, I need to pinch join 2 layers in order for me to be able to have a little bit more control over there. So now you can see I'm starting to have the concept coming down. And remember our lily leaf. So I'm gonna add the lily leaf over here for the frog to sit on. So now at this point, now I have from this, now I have the whole concept tied down, because now I know exactly where I'm going and what I'm supposed to be doing. So here I'm gonna add a little break in this leaf. And now thinking about the environment, this is where the water is actually gonna come into play. So I want my water to go around this and around the house. I want this mushroom house to be stationed right in the water. So now I can add a little bit of the environment of the water here with a little bit of tides like right there. And so if I leave it at this, it's going to be minimalist and it's going to be kind of cute. Sometimes I like bold lines like that, and just leaving it the way, just minimalist. I like the minimalist style. But we could go a little bit farther and now start to add a little bit more detail where we will want our page to be even more unique. And remember, I'm going for the whimsical style. I'm not going for the minimalist style. So I'm going for the whimsical style. This is going to be covered in water. It's going to be sitting on the water. So now I can add other things to this. Now I can add, say this mushroom, I could give it another tower. So I'm going to go ahead and draw another tower here onto the mushroom house, just to make it a little bit more whimsical and more interesting. So let's say this mushroom has another layer to it. And remember, the more you do with a little bit different shapes and designs, it gives your coloring page, a lot more depth, credibility, and people will like it a little bit more if they have more to fill in, if they have more stuff to work with while they're coloring. And I don't want that to be just a stem, so I'm gonna add a little bit of character to it. And then there is, of course, these other things that usually go into the mushroom roof that will make it more interesting. So now you can see what we're working with here, and I can go ahead and actually add some more plants. I can add a little bit more depth to this entire image. So that's gonna be a leaf over there, and that should be the style I'm trying to go for. I want whimsical but also readable. I don't want whimsical and cluttered. So I want whimsical but also a little bit readable. So we're gonna actually kind of leave it at that on this side. This side looks good, so I'm gonna leave it at that. And I'm gonna go on this other left side here to emphasize space. I won't add anything on that side. I'm just gonna cut it off like that. Add the creases in the water. And that's pretty much it. So now the task I have at hand will be to actually go in and try to now start developing my sketch. So now I have an idea down that is tied down. It's not, beautiful as sketch, but it's kind of, the idea is already tied down. I know exactly where I'm going and what I have to do to make this now look good. So what's going to go ahead and happen, I'm going to go ahead and introduce another layer, knock the opacity on that layer down a little bit. And now, this is when now you need to learn how to draw. This is when now you need to start drawing real stuff. You need to start making it look good. So I'm going to start from the left side of the of the page. Excuse me. I'm going to start with this. Let me increase. Actually, there's a certain pencil that I like. I like sketching with peppermint. But there's a realistic pencil HB that I usually use. So now it can start coming into play because it goes a little bit darker. So now you need to start tying down all your drawing and make it look a little bit now better. So now you have to think about all the corners that you take and how the entire page is gonna look like. And from this level now, you'll be going right to the last level, which the people who are going to be seeing the coloring page will see. All this we're doing, even up to this point, they will not see. They'll just see the final ink page that will come after this. So in this one, I just want to give it a little bit of kind of an effect there so it doesn't go straight from the roof to the house. You have to add all these other little details. It's what separates your work from, other people's work. And so what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go ahead and actually add this. And slowly but slowly you can see like where we came from. We came from this brainstorming and we went to this composition, and now we're in here where we actually are sketching off of our composition. So now here I try to add a little bit more detail, and now you have to be more definite. You need to be a little bit more definite at this point and know exactly what you want. And you can see it's already starting to come to life at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually add at this point I kind of like, even though they're not down on the paper yet, I kind of see where all my lines are supposed to be at this point. I see where I want everything to go at this point. So I just go in and add it where I actually want it to be. So to make it a little bit more whimsical, the style that I'm going for, I'm just gonna go in there and make these ones a little bit round. Pull it on the side. This is horrible right here. I gotta get rid of it. I need a better line. And this is the process I go through for all my coloring pages. Now you can see at this point I'm also thinking about where the what angle I'm putting everything on and where the light is coming from and where the ducks should actually be. So you can see at this point I'm thinking about all that. So that looks like it's gonna be a beautiful house. What's gonna go ahead and happen now, we're gonna actually work on the base here, on its base. Like so. And remember, for some reason we decided that it should be sitting on the water. Yes, we did. So now we're going to start drawing the environment as well to make it sit on the water where we want it to be. I'm going to add this, a few creases of the water. So now if you look at the mushroom, you could see that our coloring page is actually really now starting to look good. It's starting to come to life. And for the door, I actually think I should put a little bit more detail to it. Like so. I don't know, I just I just have all these visions in my head and I try to put it down on a paper to make it look like a real coloring page. Now we're going to our biggest challenge yet, which is going to be the frog. So let's go ahead and actually start now blocking in and drawing our frog for real. So remember, we want to give him one of those witches' hearts so it can be a little bit even more whimsical. Add a little bit of meaning to this. So I want this heart to be going off of him like so. It's like a little bit of Santa Claus slash witch's heart. So it's gonna be coming off of his head like so. And in here now we can start blocking in his face. Of course they have those big toad eyes. And there's one thing that we have when we actually are creating coloring pages that is a beautiful thing. We don't have to be worried about realisticness unless you're going for the realistic style, but you don't have to be worried about that. Sometimes when you're creating coloring pages, all you have to be worried about is, will it look good? That's all you have to be worried about. So I'm gonna go ahead and add two big eyes. Add two big eyes and give him that smiley grin on his face. You know, just the cliches of what a frog should look like. But this is a mushroom whimsical frog that nobody has ever seen, so nobody can tell me what it actually looks like, but I'll make up my own. And now I'm starting to actually give him a little bit of front legs or hands or whatever you want to call it. And I want them to carve in a little bit more like this. And now, remember, in the first phases, we were not caring about what any of these look like, but now we have to actually start thinking about if we want his feet, his hands, what they should look like. And they usually are kind of round and big on the ends here. So we want to emulate that. It could be off, but it doesn't have to be so off that when a person looks at it, they'll be like, what is that? The person should look at it and know that's a frog, but it's different. And as a matter of fact, if we all drew our frogs the same, then we'll have the same coloring page all over the internet, all over the place. Talking about that, my books usually show up on Amazon. So I publish all my coloring pages, all my coloring books on Amazon. And if you want to check them out, I'm leaving you could go to my bio. That's where the link to all my books is, to my Amazon store. And you can grab yourself a copy. They're usually under $10, so very affordable. And I want to give him now the hind legs. I want to work on those. I want to make them squat out like that. Just enough to give the people an impression that this is actually a frog. When you look at it, is it a frog? Yes, it is a frog. That's all we're going for. Oh, maybe I should have given him a crown so we create a frog prince. But I'll instead give him I'll just give him a witch's heart so he looks like a witch frog. He does not look like a prince, a frog prince. So on this side as well, I'm gonna try to do the same. Try to do those hind legs that look like they're little blobs. And I don't know actually how many fingers a frog is supposed to have, but I'm giving him 3 on each foot or each hand. So all this that we actually are creating at this point is not gonna be seen by the person who will see the final coloring page. It will not be seen. So even up to now, you should not be worried about what your work looks like that much, because this is not the product you're gonna put out. So from here, you will still go ahead and actually try to finish it up even further. You'll have to push the envelope a little bit further. So we're still at a stage where we have the discretion to do anything that we want still. And I'm going on the platform that is sitting on, which is supposed to be, again, a lily leaf. So I'm gonna give this one a little bit of meat down here to make it feel like it's actually having dimension to it. Let me see. There we go. That actually is starting to look really, really beautiful. And remember, we have other plants that are coming off of him right here that we wanted to include. So I'm gonna go ahead and include those. Now I'm actually starting to even think about the next step, which is going to be inking this work. And it's the ink part of this work that you put out as a coloring page. But all these sketches, the brainstorming, remember where we started from, all that does not matter because you're not going to put none of that out. That one is to help you as an artist to figure out what you're supposed to be doing, or at least for me, that's the process I go through when I'm creating my work. So there we go. We added a few more details just to give people a lot more color. And I'm going to add another one to stem off of this. Sometimes I look at coloring books and I feel like I'm cheated. I feel like a page should have a little bit more stuff for me to, to put down colors. But sometimes you feel cheated. You feel like the artist was a little bit lazy and gave you just a little bit of things to color when they could have actually pushed the envelope a little bit farther. And there goes your whimsy. So now you can start, when you look at it, it will strike you like, oh, that's a frog sitting on a lily pod, on a lily flower, and there's a mushroom house in the background. And I'm going to add another mushroom tower in the background, and that's it. That will create our easy coloring page that you really don't have to be very good at drawing to create. But that's a process that even if you were to do a complicated coloring page, you will have to still go through the same, well, at least for me, I still go through the same process. And the software I'm using, of course, is Procreate on iPad. So this is just adding another dimension to it so we can give our audience a little bit more to work with. And I added more of those without overdoing it. So now we can just add what do you call them? We could just add a little spark in the air just to make it even more cuter. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually conjure up a little. I'm gonna go ahead and conjure up a little butterfly over here. Just to add a little bit even more dimension to it. You never know actually what is going to attract people to your work. It could be the smallest things that are your signature moves. Like it could be the lines. It could be this little butterfly that I'm trying to add on here that will attract somebody to this coloring page. So you never know. Just try to do your level best and hope for the best at the same time. So I added a little bug over there. So the sky is not bare. Okay, add a little bit of a star over there. Just to make it even look more interesting. So that's it. We are at this point done with our sketch. So now what happens, I'll join those two. There's no need to separate them. And I'm going to add another layer. And now this is what everybody is going to see as the coloring page. Because in this layer, I'm actually going to change to an inking technical pen. And I'm going to start throwing down the ink. So now the layer that we're going to create is the layer that everybody will be able to see out there as the coloring page. All right. So let's go ahead and start inking in this work now. So on the inking page is going to be the page that everybody will actually see. Ooh, that's big. That's big and bold. I want to keep it, smaller still. No, that's too small. Let's do 19 points and see how that works out. And now the beauty of using Procreate comes into hand now. Because when you throw those lines and they actually snap in place, it really makes your work so easy. The creators of Procreate really thought hard about that one. Because it makes life so simple for illustrators and coloring book artists. Now you can already start to see, because whatever I'm doing now in this level is what people out there see as a coloring page. They see the simplisticness of it, but they don't know where it came from. See, now you could still actually work on that line to make it huge on one side and actually very thin on the other side. That still is the magic of Procreate. You can determine what direction you want, say, the thickness of that line to be. I'm gonna go ahead and create another line here, thick. So now you can see our coloring page is starting to come to life. On this side, I'm not gonna make it too thick. I'm gonna make it a little bit linear like that. And yeah, it's starting to come to life now. It's starting to look actually really cute. I'm actually starting to be into it now a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and add more lines here. That's not supposed to be flat. supposed to be a little bit curvy. Nope, that's horrible. So now at this point, your job or your task is just to complete all the lines in the piece. And a successful page will be after you add in all the lines. Because remember that the line work now that we're working on is the only part that people are going to see out there as the coloring page. All that we went through first, the brainstorming, the sketches, none of that work is going to be seen. That is just to help you as an artist to create the page. And in here I can add even a little bit more accents, just the way I envision it or I want it. Just like so. And there you go. Now you can see at least one of the components of this coloring page has come to life and has been inked in. And since I'm the king of accents, I can go ahead and actually add more to this to make it even look cuter and add a little bit of a personality to it. All this that I'm doing right now is what is going to add personality to your page and probably make it stand out from what everybody else is doing, is thinking a little bit differently. Usually what I do, some of these, if I know I may not like them, I actually may add them on a different layer so I can look at the picture with or without them and see if I do like them or not. But these ones I just went straight ahead and added them, so they may not be going back after this. All right, so that's what you got to do, guys. And when you go through all the artwork like that, then you will have created yourself a coloring page. So thank you so much for sticking around and watching. Anybody who has watched, if I had anybody watching. And oh, actually, I had a few people watching in there. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys. So I'll create a video for this too, and I'll upload it so anybody who missed it could actually be able to see it. And what I'll do is I'll actually finish up the entire page at that point, and I'll upload a finished video of it. So thank you guys. So now I'm just going to continue with this, and we're gonna finally add all the lines that I need to create in this coloring page. And we finally will be able to actually put this out. So the one thing that I like about Procreate is it makes some of the things come out precise for you, so you don't have to figure out how to draw a circle. For example, what I'm doing here, I can just tap on that and create a perfect circle. I actually think I'm gonna get rid of the first eye that I drew. It was not a perfect circle the way I wanted it to be. So slowly by slowly like this, with a little bit of practice here and there, you're gonna learn to create your own coloring pages. And if you are resilient enough, you can actually create a whole coloring book. Like, honestly speaking, this is how I create all my coloring books. And if you have not seen them, I actually they are on Amazon. Wherever you buy your regular stuff on Amazon is where I have all my coloring books, and most of them are below $10. I even have some coloring books on there that are below $5, depending on what you're looking for. And always, all my coloring books will have at least 30 images in them. The one that I actually just put out that I think is my most proud of creation ever is 40 images. And in those 40 images, I actually added 2 bonus images. Let me see if I can pull up its let me see if I can pull up its cover here so you guys can see. It's all about sea turtles and their environments. It's really whimsical. It's really beautiful. You guys gotta check it out. I'm promising you, you will not regret if you actually check that coloring book out. And it's less than $10, so you could go ahead and grab it for yourself. In here, I'm trying to add a few things to just make it, a lot palatable and a lot. I just want to give you guys a little bit more stuff to color. So this, remember, we're not in either the sketches or anything, but as you go along, you'll learn to add different things to your creation so you can make it look even better. So now you can see our frog is coming out nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill these, and then I'm gonna go ahead and oops, that's too big. I'm gonna go ahead and create shinies to them with just the eraser. So my frog is not a cute frog, it's just a whimsical character to put forth to just explain to you how to create this coloring book. I didn't go for the cute part of it. No, I went for just the whimsicalness. But I bet it puts the point across on how to create these coloring books in Procreate. So the program I use for most of my designs, I use 2 programs. I use Sketchbook Pro and I use Procreate. This is Procreate. And I need to actually mention it that Procreate is becoming really, really something else. It's becoming something else to a point that now I use Sketchbook Pro only every once in a while. This is becoming my ultimate primary tool because of all these tools that it puts forth for us to use. Makes the work so easy. Like the project I just did of 42 images, it took me about only 4 months to create that book. And you will see how much time you put in one page, depending on how fast you are. I'm a slow artist, so it takes me forever to create something. But I know there is some people who are really, really quick, and it takes them just a bit of time to create. So something like this, they would create it in less than an hour. I can't. I have to take about 3-4 hours to create something of this caliber. I'm a slow artist, and I want to be methodical about the way I do things and a lot calculated. So this is it. Mr. Froggy is coming along pretty good. And this page I will actually offer for free. So what's gonna go ahead and happen, I'll upload it on my website. I don't do a lot to promote my website, but I'll upload it on my website. My website is simioart.com, and I'm going to upload this page on there. So anybody who wants it, for yourself, for your kids, for any function, you just have to go ahead over there and you'll actually be able to access this page. Since I created this page with you guys, I'll give it out for free. I'll give this page out for free to you guys to use. And I love to consider myself the king of accents because I just love adding all these things into my work. So every time I'm drawing, I just keep adding accents and accents. And when I say accents, I mean these. That's what I call accents. These. Those are what I call accents. So you can see Frog is coming out pretty good. No, I don't like that to be a straight line. I want it to be a little bit carved in. Same thing with his feet. The nodes of his toes, I don't want them to be perfect circles. I want them to elongate a little bit. His suction cups. And Procreate is the king when it comes to that. It will help you snap the line exactly where you want to snap it. And the line weight, that's one thing I don't usually put into consideration that much. My line weight, I usually just eyeball it. I usually just eyeball it, but in the end it works out. It tends to please the eye. So guys, if you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Let's grow this channel a bit further, and let me know what you think in the comment section below if you want to see more of these videos, so I can go ahead and create more of these for you guys. Oh, I hate that line. So what I'm gonna do for this one, I'm gonna add another layer underneath, and I'm gonna do it in one take. And in a minute, you're gonna see why I added a line underneath. I mean a layer underneath. So the reason why I added a layer underneath the layer that I was working on, just for this part of the this lily, let me show you. It's because of this, because I can just go bring my eraser and cut this out like this. Ta-da! As easy as that. So layers will always help you out a lot. So I'm gonna bring this. I wanna break it like there to add a little bit more dimension to that crease. And it only makes sense that this goes up here and that it's darker. So all those come in with intuition after you do this for a little bit of time. It comes in with intuition. You just, feel like, and you draw it. And actually, sometimes it pleases you, sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't, that's why you have the eraser in this application. If it does, that's why you leave it. And trust me, you're not gonna like everything that you do. Sometimes you just have to go with it. And that's the reason why I love Procreate. That looks good. So remember, these were all just additions. Oops. These were all just additions for us to try to add a little bit more dynamic to this coloring page. And we actually did succeed. Because it actually looks good. The other thing why digital work is always good is the fact that you can zoom in and get as intimate as you want with that particular line, which on traditional methods, all you can do is just rotate your canvas. And in coloring books, there's a lot of things that we as artists do just to fill up space. But in the group, most of the times you find people saying, oh guys, I don't know what to do with this. What is this? And the circle of things. Sometimes you just have to go with it. Throw colors on it and you'll see the magic it does. Those are what I call fillers. Like, they're in the picture, they don't mean anything, but when you actually throw colors on it, it will look good. Trust me, it will look good. There's a reason why I used it to fill that space. And if you just follow your intuition and color it in, then it will actually feel good. It will look good. For example, this space right here. I just did that to cover that space in. But if you just go and throw colors on it, it will look good. Trust me. So the other thing that I do on this channel is I actually create color alongs. So in coloring along, what I usually do is I take a page either from my book or from another artist's book, and I usually color along just to show people what they could do with that particular coloring page. Some people in the Facebook group actually loved that. They love getting a little bit of an insight on how to color certain pages, because trust me, some artists make things a little bit complicated. It's not straightforward black and white like this page we're trying to create here. So a lot of people have been wanting a little bit of insight on how to color some pages, and I've been doing that. And some people find it helpful, even though I have a lot of trouble talking while I actually work. Like right now. I still do it though, and you guys have been giving me a lot of grace and actually accepting my, for one, ugly voice. And my instructional videos have actually been doing good. So thank you so much for your support. Talking about support, if you haven't subscribed, you can go ahead and subscribe to this video, and you can also share it. Share it. I bet you if you're watching this, you know somebody who can actually use this. You totally know somebody who can actually use this. If you know somebody who can use this, go ahead and share it with them. Let them know that there is this person who's creating this, and you can go ahead and check it out. That will help me out too, because the more views, you know how the algorithm works, the better for me. So you can go ahead and like this video as well. And of course, your comments are always welcome. So here, I can go ahead and bring this all the way down here. That's very ragged. I want it to be a little bit smoother, but not straight at the same time. That will actually work. So this is the beauty of drawing on different layers. I can just go in and cut those parts out. And the stem to that hind mushroom will actually work. Oops. That's actually not good. But I like that line. Let me see if I can fix it. So these are the dilemmas you go through from mistaking your layers. But I like that line so much, I'd rather fix this one than cut the other one out. All right, and there we go. Our page is starting to really take flight now. It's starting to take flight and getting there. Let's add this on top of this other mushroom here. I want to make it a perfect circle. These I just love to add. Why? I don't know. Some of these things you're just gonna do it out of intuition. And who knows, it may work, it may become your signature move, or other people may hate it. But the thing is, this is actually art. So not everybody's gonna like your work, but the people who like it will actually do like your work. So me, I'm not fazed by people who don't like my work. I just go with the few that actually do like my work. And there you go. The top of that one is also done. So now my next struggle is going to be this, the water. But the way I'm gonna deal with this, I'm gonna draw them all the way, and I'm gonna go ahead and erase the parts that I want out. Give me a bigger brush, please. Erase the parts that I don't want out. I think this was broken here as well. Oh, I love breaking my line. That needs to be my signature move. Like, I love breaking my line so much. Sometimes it doesn't even make sense, but I just force it. Like, look at this. And I go and break it here. And now I run into problems where I can't actually do what I want. For example, here. No, that is not gonna work. I want there to be rings. Yeah, that will actually work a lot better. But I gotta fix some of these ends. That actually looks good. So I'm gonna cut this one too, like so. Now that's boring. It went off the realm. That's good. And that's good. That's perfect. That's good. That's good, but I gotta kill it somewhere around here. And I need a few more on the front of our house. How's a house sitting on water? I still don't know. It's just a beautiful imagery. And that is the thing about coloring pages. Like, sometimes not everything has to make sense, but it just has to look good aesthetically. And that's the permission you have as an artist to actually do that. So if I go ahead and turn off this layer, you can see that's our coloring page coming to life. It looks lit. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually turning that off helped me to see a bunch of areas that need fixing, like here. I want to give my toad a little bit of a belly or what, I don't know. I'm just gonna cut this through here. Grandpa frog. And cut this through here. Just to give him a little bit of oh, I'm on a different layer. So the layer that I want to be on is the layer that has the original frog. So I can be able to delete those ones in there. Also without having tangents. You know what would have been so good would be giving him actually a bow tie. But we're not going to go ahead and do that. We've changed it around a lot. I think this is enough. And remember our addition for the frog, I mean for the butterfly. It's starting to look really, really good. There we go. That looks enticing. So I'm gonna add another one on this side. This is gonna be the most lonely butterfly I've ever seen in my entire life. I should have drawn 2 of these, so he's not lonely. But hey, what are you gonna do? He'll be fine. Or what I can do is I can always duplicate it. Again, that's the beauty of digital work. I can always duplicate it, but for the purposes of this video, you kind of get it. You kind of get it. That usually when you create a page, you want to put some placeholders like these stars now to make your work look a lot better and to give your coloring fans a little bit more stuff to deal with. I love it when I get a coloring page and it has more stuff on the page as fillers for me. It's a good thing always. I'm like, ooh, juicy. So just adding a little bit of a tail to that can make it a shooting star or something. And this has to be the final line in this drawing. It has to be the final line in this drawing. So what we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to go ahead and turn off the sketch layer, and voila, that's our coloring page, guys. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys like this. And ooh, that's terrible. If you've liked it, please go ahead and leave me a thumbs up. And I'm gonna put this on my website. You guys can go there and download it if you don't want to go through the mechanics of drawing it, and you can go ahead and have fun with it. So thank you so much, guys, again for watching, and I hope you really liked it. Please go ahead and share this video. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and that will show me that you actually support my work. So thank you so much for watching. Bye bye for now.